Hi there and welcome back to another video. My name is Matthias and today we're here in beautiful Raja Ampat, Indonesia. Oh wait, this looks like the Philippines. And now we're in Zurich. What's happening? Where are we? To be honest, we're here in my home studio in Zurich, and the reason for that is because I want to talk to you about the reason why you should learn how to shoot green screen video. Coming up. Shooting green screen video can help you increase your creativity on your videos by quite a bit. Whether that is for personal private projects or to attract different clients that might be asking for content that requires green screen shooting. Now, the reason that I got into green screen shooting just recently is because one of my regular clients, a real estate agent from the area here in Zurich, asked me for new ideas on how to make his videos a little more special. So we came up with the idea of him presenting the objects, the houses that he's selling or that he's trying to sell, and instead of just shooting that in front of the house or inside that specific house, we've decided to shoot everything in my home studio here in front of the green screen, and then we just use photos that he delivers to me that we can just use as a backdrop, and we'll change them as he's speaking, so it depends on what he speaks. You can see the according photo in the background. Now this has worked so well and he's so happy with the results that we've decided to continue with those kinds of videos for his channel and for his presentations. I am no green screen expert by any means. I've literally just started using green screens on a regular basis, and I'm still learning how to properly get those videos done and get the best possible footage for the green screen theme. Nevertheless, I think that it is a very interesting and also a very promising field in video production. So today I want to talk you through my process of producing those videos and give you a little bit of an insight on how I do this. Please keep in mind, as I said, that I'm not an expert in green screen shooting itself, so whatever I say in this video might not be the ideal way to do it, but it does work for me and with the experience that I've collected shooting green screen so far, which doesn't mean that there might not be a better way to shoot green screen videos. So first of all, I want to show you my setup that I've got here in my home studio to shoot green screen. Obviously we have the green screen itself, which is located behind me there by the wall. Then what we also have is two lights that are coming at about 45-degree angle from either side and shining onto the green screen and onto myself as well. I've got an additional light up there on the green screen, which is a little fill light that comes from the back, and it's basically there to eliminate any spill that might be visible on my clothing or the subject's clothing as we're shooting the scenes here in front of the green screen. Then we've also obviously got the camera, which is a GH5S with the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter lens on it right now. I do record all my green screen videos in 24 frames per second and in 10-bit, so that I have a little more room to wiggle around with the colors and get everything right in post-production. Last but not least, we do have a Rode video mic that is on a stand here, and that captures the audio, so we get nice, crisp and proper audio for the talking bits of the videos. And that's pretty much all you need to be able to shoot green screen videos. And now let's hop onto the computer and I walk you through my post-production process and show you how I make sure that I get the best possible results from shooting green screen videos. Let's go. And here we are in Final Cut Pro X or 10, the software that I'm using to edit all my videos. The process will be pretty much the same if you're working with, let's say, Adobe Premiere or any other editing software that does support luma keying. So it doesn't really make much of a difference, but since I'm using Final Cut Pro X, this is what I'll be showing you here today. So after we've imported the footage that we want to use from our green screen shooting, we then drop it down in the timeline, and then what we need to do first is basically work on the color correction of the clip before we apply the luma key to it. So what I like to do with these clips is first of all do a white balance correction. I always do manual white balance on these shoots anyways, but sometimes I like to correct the white balance in post to just get it a little closer. I normally use the method where I can define an area that should be white on the picture, and therefore it just changes the white color or the white balance slightly. So there wasn't much of a change there, but that should be just fine. Next, we are going to open up our color correction tools, and we're going to open up our scopes. And once they're open, we can then see that the picture is actually quite well exposed. As you can see here, we have a little bit of clipping there on his hair, which is from the backlight that was mounted to the green screen. So what I'll do, I'll just bring that down a tiny little bit, and I'll just bring up the shadows a little bit as well, because I find them a little bit too low. So we have a bit of a more even look there. Next, we want to make sure that we have the right skin tones. What I do for this is just make the whole frame a little bigger here, and then I use a mask, a drawing mask that I can then just line out my subject's face. And once that's done, so what I can do to see whether this really is the correct color temperature for the skin tones, I can just increase the saturation to the maximum, and you can see here that the color information should stay on that line, which it pretty much does. So we're actually quite good on the skin tones there. We can bring that saturation down a little bit. We don't bring it all the way down, we'll just bring it down a little bit. We can then go back and disable the drawing mask, and you see that that's a little too much saturation there now, so we'll bring that down a little bit. We'll bring up a little bit of saturation in our shadows, and a little bit of saturation back into the highlights, and this looks quite good to me now. Yep. Alright, so the next thing that we'll do, we want to make sure that the green background, the green screen, is as intense of a green color as possible, so that it's going to be easier for the key to extract all that green color from the picture. The way I normally do this is by using the color curves, and once in there I use the selection tool to select the color of the green screen, and then I'll just push that color up a little more, so I make it really green and make it really stand out from the rest of the image. And so depending on what it looks like, what I can also do is use the luma function here, and with the selection tool again make the green screen either a little brighter or a little darker. I'm going to make it a little darker here so that it really stands out from the rest of the image. And once that's done, the color correction looks quite okay. If we now just check this compared to what we had as an original footage, this is our original footage right there. This is what it looks like after the tiny bit of color correction that we've applied. Now, we don't need the scopes anymore for the moment. We don't need the library, so we have a larger picture there. But what we do need is in our effects panel, we can now go to the keying section and use the keyer. By applying that to it, we now have our isolation that we wanted. We have our subject isolated from the background, and we can use that now as an overlay on the pictures. Now on the right hand side, you'll actually see the keyer section. And it already comes with some presets that you can use, and they tend to work quite well in my experience. And if you look at it now, you can see that it is actually just quite okay. It's not too bad at all. Sometimes what might happen is that you might see some greenish tints here on the borders. That doesn't really seem to be the case here. This is all pretty clean on the edges. The hair is always a bit of an issue. Sometimes you can get some green lines here. If that happens, then you can basically try to work with the different dials here and see, just move them around and see how that works and what kind of difference does it make, to see how much you can get rid of that by just playing with these dials here. Most of the time that works quite fine, and you can get it to a point where I'm happy with it in a couple of minutes really. Now the only thing that you can see looking at this picture is that down here in the corners you see that it's not 100% covering the green screen, and this is simply, if we turn that here off, you will see that down here there's a little less light, just a slight bit less light than on the rest of our screen, of our backdrop, and that's what causes these little imperfections here. That's not a big deal. You can correct that quite easily by using the sample color here, and if you use that and apply that to the corner there, it will make sure that this part disappears, and this one has also disappeared because it was the same color, so it took care of that quite easily. And now if we look through the footage, it should look quite okay. There is no imperfections there anymore. And now the last thing that we have to do is put the photos that the client delivered to me in the background. I have already prepared this down here, but they're deactivated, so by clicking them all and pressing V, I do activate the backdrop, and now you can see that our subject is in front of the desired backdrop. What I've done here, I've just used simple transitions, fade transitions. I find them to be the most natural ones to make these transitions from one photo to another one, as he's talking about the different qualities and the different things that the house has on offer. Another thing that you might want to do is reposition your subject, the person in the picture. Especially with real estate videos, you don't really want to have that person right in the middle of your frame, simply because you want to be able to show most of what is on the photo of the house, of the property, and you don't want that person to be covering some important parts that might be useful for the people watching the video to see. So make sure that you're selecting the appropriate clip, and then on the right hand side you can go down to position, transformation, and down here you can basically just define where you want to have your person, your subject. Let's say we put it 500 pixels to the right hand side. That looks much better. You can see a lot more of the surroundings or of the backdrop there. And I think that he's a little too high, so what we'll do, we'll just bring him down a little bit. Yeah, that looks okay. So we dropped him down by 50 pixels, which is just fine for me. And then we have some space up here in the corner if we do want to put like his company logo or something in there. That would be quite easily done as well. Okay, now everything is basically done, and we can go through the finished video, and we can basically just pay close attention and see whether there is any flickering or anything during the video in any of the different sections, just making sure that the keying has worked perfectly throughout the entire clip. If you see any flickering, that basically means that the key is not applied properly, that it's not working 100% properly. So you will have to go back to your keyer section here and fiddle around with the settings to make sure to get it to a stage where you're happy with it. But this looks quite okay to me. This looks fine. The client's definitely going to be happy with that. And that's that. Very simple and easy. And that's how it's done. Quick and easy. This technique can be used in a variety of different situations, and I'm sure if you practice it a little bit, you'll be able to incorporate it in your video productions in one way or another, put some extra creativity in them and make them just a little bit better and make them stand out from the crowd. I hope this video was useful to you guys and you got some insights out of it. If that's the case, please do hit that like button, it does mean a lot to me. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet for more content coming out in the future on this channel. If you do have any additional questions regarding green screen shooting, please feel free to put them down in the comment section and I'll be sure to get back to you as quickly as possible. And if you do want me to make a more in-depth video about the process of either shooting or editing green screen video, make sure to put a comment down in the comment section. And depending on how big the interest is regarding this topic, I might be coming up with another video regarding green screen shooting in the near future. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you somewhere around the world.